How's it going? Today I'm talking about my easy pace is too slow for my plan. So, this is another question from social media, and it says my fastest 5K was just under 21 minutes. My plan says easy pace at 8:45, but I can't do it without my heart rate spiking. So, this person is looking for what to do when their easy pace, according to the app that they're using, says that their easy pace should be 8 minutes and 45 seconds per mile based on their fastest 5K pace. Now, with this information, I have no idea what distance this easy run is supposed to be, but there are a couple of things that we need to factor in here. And I'm going to talk about those factors first. Going to talk about what to do when this happens. So, a couple of things to factor in. The longer the run, whether it be a training run or a race, the longer that distance, the slower you're going to go. Even people who are qualifying for the Boston Marathon, winning the Boston Marathon, their 5K pace is not going to be their marathon pace. You're not going to hold the same pace for a 5K 3.1 miles for a marathon 26.2 miles, or a half marathon 13.1 miles, or a 10 miler or a 10K. They're not going to be the same. We can use these distances based on races. We can use those to help guide where we're going with our easy pace, with our fast pace, with our race pace, but they aren't going to be the same. And one of the things I really don't like about these apps, and I will be completely honest, I don't like them so much that I've actually never used them. So please take this information knowing that I haven't used these. It's one of the reasons I don't recommend them, because I haven't used it myself, but also for situations like this. I see this kind of thing all the time. And my app is telling me I need to go this pace and I can't do it. Or somebody will have the best long run of their life, their best race of their life, and they think that they need to or should be able to keep redoing that PR. It's not going to happen. Race day is a whole separate beast than training. One part of that is race day adrenaline. So, race day adrenaline is a real thing. My client will have about 90 seconds per mile faster pace on race day than what they're consistently doing on their training runs, on their long runs. I'm comparing easy pace. So that's typically the one that I look at, because when my clients in Stronger, Faster, Finisher are doing their short speed workouts, that is for a short amount of time. We can't compare the short amount of time for the marathon as an example, or holding that pace for 4 days in a row for the dopey challenge. So we can compare the long run, because that is a long distance. We are getting up in miles. We're getting to 10 miles for a half marathon or a 2-course challenge. We're getting to 18, 19, 20 miles for the marathon, for the goofy challenge, for the dopey challenge. And of course, I tell my clients to run slower. But I just had this conversation in Stronger, Faster, Finisher the other day. Somebody was asking about like race pace strategy, and that led into, well, how do I know that this is going to work by easy running and it translating to race day? The whole thing of it is about how you're training your body to adapt and metabolize, utilize energy, and recover. You are training your body to be more efficient at that. So that's one of the reasons you can go faster on race day, even if you're doing 80% of your running at easy pace, zone 2 if you follow zones, things like that. But I'm seeing my clients consistently doing on average 90 seconds per mile faster on race day because of race day adrenaline and because of all the carb loading you're doing ahead of time. That is definitely a key and necessary. But race day adrenaline is a real thing, especially in runDisney races. There is so much going on. You have character stops, you have characters in the corrals before everybody's lining up. You have just the excitement of running through Disney. It's a whole thing. If you haven't done Run Disney races and you're doing them for the first time, the amount of support is wild. You have cheerleaders, you have bands, you have comedians, you have the cast members. Now, you know that at Disney, cast members are so nice, helpful, cheerful. They bring it on race day, even when you're starting the race at 5 a.m. and you're getting to the corrals at 3 a.m. They are all in. That adrenaline pushes you step after step, mile after mile. It's a real thing. Okay, but let's get back to this original question. My 5K was under 21 minutes. So this person is fast. My 5K is like 36 minutes, 35 minutes. Okay, this person's fast. Plan says easy pace at 8:45, but I can't without my heart rate spiking. So there are many factors that go into what pace you should be running to keep your heart rate down, to keep it easy. So again, just talked about this on Stronger, Faster, Finisher. This is wild that I feel like it's just everywhere. There are so many factors. So stress levels, are you stressed out at home, at work, stressed about doing this run? That's a real thing. What's the temperature? The hotter it is, the higher your heart rate is just resting. So you're already at an elevated heart rate. So going your normal, let's say easy pace, let's just say for conversation's sake, this pace, this 8:45 was a good easy pace in normal temperatures, in cool weather, in the ideal circumstance for this person. Let's say that they could run zone 2, heart rate stays low at the 8-minute and 45-second pace in normal conditions. But now we're at 10 degrees warmer. That's going to affect the heart rate because the heart rate's going to already be elevated just from being. Resting heart rate is going to be higher. So now we're adding an element of now we're running during that. Our heart rate's going to be higher and it's going to come out of that easy conversational pace, that zone 2. It's already going to be elevated. So you do have to slow down in temperature. What have you been eating? What have you been fueling and hydrating with in the past 36 hours leading up to this run? Maybe even longer if it's a super long run. Same thing with race day. You want to load up on those carbs so your body can use that glucose during the run. That's a big factor. I mentioned stress already. Sleep. How much sleep did you get? Hydration. Are you dehydrated? If you don't get enough sleep, if you're dehydrated even the slightest bit, your heart rate is elevated. All of these things play a factor. So maybe this person in ideal conditions, perfect sleep, perfect fueling, perfect stress levels. They must not be human if they have perfect stress levels. But let's say everything is perfect, ideal conditions. Maybe they could have done the 8-minute and 45-second pace. But we don't live in ideal conditions. Things are constantly changing. We do not have control over all of these things. So we have to adjust and adapt. That's why I recommend my clients test their paces so they know what their pace is in pretty much ideal situation. I do recommend my runners test on the treadmill. So then they're probably in air conditioning. They're in a good mindset. They're not worried about the route that they're taking. Is it going to have hills? Is there going to be a dog? These are real things. All of these things are added stressors. So I'm testing pace on the treadmill, ideal conditions. So now we know what it's like in ideal conditions. But again, I said we don't live in ideal conditions. So what happens now? Go slower. Go slower. If it's hot out, I already recommend going 1 to 2 minutes per mile slower than what your normal easy pace is. So if your normal easy pace tests at 12 minutes, you may be going 13.5 minutes per mile. That's okay. You may be going 15 minutes per mile. That's okay. You may have to walk because your body can't keep up. That's okay. We don't want to do that every single time, but sometimes we need to make game day decisions. And we went out at 9 o'clock in the morning here in Las Vegas. I have done this before. Go out for a run at 9 o'clock in the morning. Here in Las Vegas in July or August, it's already 95 degrees. Well, I'm not going to be able to hold my pace that I normally can in 70-degree weather. 70 for me is quite pleasant. And so I'm not going to be able to do that. So next time, maybe I'll do it on the treadmill. Maybe I'll get out at 5 a.m. That's what I tried to do this past weekend. I didn't quite get out at 5, but I did get out right before 6. 5:59 is when I started my watch. It counts, people. It counts. Because normally I run at 9 in the morning, but I also took it slower. Some of my paces were 14 and a half minutes per mile during the running portion, not the walking portion. And I can see that because that's how I set my watch up. So you may have to adjust it. But your app, if you're using an app, your app doesn't do that. Your app isn't going to recognize, oh yeah, it's 90 degrees out instead of 60 degrees out. It's not going to recognize, oh, you have hills. It's not going to recognize that, oh, there's a new dog in the neighborhood that barks like crazy and you're wondering, can he hop the fence? These apps don't know these things, and there's nobody to ask when you're using these apps. I'm sure the apps are great for some people. I personally, professionally, just don't like them. There are some things that are meant for using the computer, for using the AI. But when you have questions like this is where using a coach comes into play. Because then you can talk about all of the different aspects. How was your sleep? How's the temperature? All of these different things. And in general, if you can't do that pace without it feeling strenuous, it's not your easy pace. Your easy pace should feel like you can go all day. You're training for longevity. You're training to change the physiological activities that are happening in your body to make your body more efficient so that you're more fit. That's what we're looking at. How your heart rate recovers, how high your heart rate goes. Have you ever noticed when you first start doing a training after either never running before or haven't done it in a while, you can't go very far or very long without your heart rate absolutely skyrocketing. That's because you're untrained, you're not fit. When you have quick recovery for your heart rate, meaning it doesn't take very long for it to get back down to resting heart rate, that means that you are fit. If it's not going as high for the same amount of time, distance, things like that, means you are more fit. And that's what we're training for. And then that means that your body is more efficient at doing what it needs to do at the cellular levels in your body. One mistake runners make is thinking that their easy pace needs to be faster because that's what historically they have done. Now, the runners I work with, many of them, not all of them, but many of the runners I work with, they're working with me because of a DNF. They did not finish last year. They didn't even get to the start line last year. They've been injured in the past. Those things can come from going too fast too often or too fast too far too soon. But since we're talking about pace, keeping that pace slower the better, will help you in the long run. It's really hard to overcome. Oh gosh, well, I used to do my easy pace long runs at 12 minutes per mile, but now Dr. Allie's telling me I need to do 14 minutes per mile every single time. How am I ever going to improve? I promise I have seen it over and over and over and over again. When you run slow more often, you will have the energy to go hard in these shorter bouts meant for speed work, meant for hills, meant for tempo, meant for testing race pace. You will have the energy to push hard there. So then your body can get more efficient at being fast and recovering fast. And then all of your hard work translates to race day. and you go faster. Like I said, my clients, just thinking last year, on average, my clients went 90 seconds per mile faster as their pace on race day. That gave them an extra, if it's 90 seconds, even if it's just 1 minute per mile faster over the course of a half marathon, that's 13.1 minutes. On average, each character stop is less than 5 minutes. So that could be 2 or 3 character stops right there, just from race pace adrenaline. Race pace adrenaline only works when you're not burnt out on race day. And that's where running easy, slow for the longer miles and in the taper come into play. You're conserving energy and going slower. I hope that was helpful. I always love answering questions. Send me a DM, runDisney DPT on Instagram, and I'm happy to answer the question. It will likely be in the form of a podcast episode because if you have the question, somebody else does too.